So what is going on, Ghost of Tsushima fans? It's your boy Amaziah here, and today we're going to be hopping into the second video of my coverage of Ghost of Tsushima. Now there's a lot to be said and a lot to be talked about when it comes to Ghost of Tsushima, but today we're going to be focusing once again on the combat. The reason why I want to focus on the combat is because this is going to be the biggest part of Ghost of Tsushima, how well the game plays and how many opportunities or how much opportunity will be in this game. So as far as the samurai aspects of the game, and I'm going to be breaking this down into two parts, samurai and ninja, and I'll talk about why I'm going to talk about ninja later on in the video. The samurai parts are because of the fact that we know that this game is going to be based on a samurai. In fact, the official description of the game says, as the one of the last surviving samurai. This means that it's you and probably a handful of other people to a couple dozens of other people of what used to be probably hundreds of samurai. So if that's the case, then I feel like the game, as far as the samurai aspects go, should be kind of similar to something very reminiscent to For Honor. The reason why I say this is because For Honor was a game that had so much potential, and whether or not you believe it kept its promise on as far as the potential that it had and what was shown off is up to you. It's a very, very subjective topic, but as far as I'm concerned, the ideas behind For Honor is damn good ideas. The idea of making a system to where it's over the shoulder and you're kind of fighting, but there's a problem with that kind of gameplay style as well that For Honor ran into that Suckpunch would have to find a workaround for. And that's the fact that the system worked good when you went one-on-one. In fact, people love the system when you're going one-on-one, but when you're dealing with groups of enemies, it could be a huge problem. So maybe this would mean that it will have to drop back into a third person type of deal, and then of course they'll have to find a way to work it out there, because they need to give us a wide scope of everything around us if they're going to do this gameplay style. Another gameplay style I would love to see is something very reminiscent to Shadow of War. And Shadow of War, and of course the Shadow of Mordor series, is kind of like a gameplay system that's kind of reminiscent to Assassin's Creed across the Arkham games, and that would be pretty cool, but I don't see how it would work as far as being a samurai game. We know samurais are prideful. We know samurais are kind of like royalty. They're not royalty, but they're kind of like, they're people of high, I guess, I don't know how to say it. They're people of high social status, I guess you could say. Something like that. And with that being the case, we know that samurai like to have a heads up one-on-one battle, but that would severely limit the gameplay possibilities as far as the samurai side. So I don't believe that they're going to follow that by any means. I believe that they're going to try and make it new and like reinvent what it means to be a samurai with this game, especially with what it says in the official description of the game, which I'm going to read for you guys now as we transition from talking about the samurai aspects into the ninja aspects, because a lot of what they said on the official site is what's going to drive a lot of my opinions for the ninja side. In the year 2012, well, 20, in the year 1274, the fearsome Mongol Empire invades the island of Tsushima, wreaking havoc and conquering the local population. As one of the last surviving samurai, you rise from the ashes and move beyond your traditions to forge a new way of fighting, the way of the ghost, as you wage an unconventional war for the freedom of Japan. Now, there's a lot of things there that we can put into context, or we can try and context in a sense of what we've seen thus far. We know that when we saw the ending of the trailer, we got a little reveal that seemed like it was gameplay from the ninja side of things, as it was nighttime, and we saw that his armor was very, very reminiscent to what we saw after his armor was burned away into the flames and became ashes, as he puts on the mask and he's holding his sword in a new kind of way. And of course, this is all something that I feel like is going to lead us to the path of the ninja and lead us to the path of this unconventional war in this new fighting style that's mentioned here. It's officially labeled as the way of the ghost. And in my personal opinion, how I would describe a ninja, and how many other people would describe a ninja as well, I believe, it's kind of like a ghost. And what I mean by that is that they can kill and not be killed, see and not be seen, kill and not be seen, and all kinds of things. That's basically what it all revolves around, because they use a lot of distance weapons such as shurikens, which are silent, kunais, which are silent. They use blow darts, which are silent, poison darts, which are silent, and they use a lot of poisons, gases, and all kinds of things. So if you see what I'm saying, there's a lot of shit that goes towards this idea of the term the way of the ghost. And it also says, as you wage unconventional war for the freedom of Japan. Unconventional war would mean something that has to be outside of the conventions of the year 1274. But it's always felt like to me, with the name of the game, that Ghost of Tsushima, and the way how we're going to be one of the very few samurai left on Tsushima, is that it's telling us pretty much that we may be seeing the story of the original ninja, or maybe he will get involved with a ninja clan or some shit like that, or he may get involved with some type of ninja group after the War of Tsushima starts, and that's how he will learn ninja skills. I would personally love to see him become a ninja all on his own. I would love to see him develop this whole fighting style, and I would love to see this be the story of the very first ninja. But if he is involved with some type of group, then I guess that's fine as well. But it just wouldn't be as cool as seeing him develop exactly what it means to be a ninja all on his own, and kind of making their own sort of history for, of course, Japan, and making their own sort of history for this huge marker when it comes to war in real life. As it said that the War for Tsushima was kind of a precursor war to the wars that we even have today. So that's something that they have to do something with. Like, they have to make it seem like this whole thing is just something that's bigger than life. Like, it's bigger than life. They have to make it seem that way. If they don't make it seem that way, I don't know exactly why the hell they plan on making, of course, Ghost of Tsushima. But Ghost of Tsushima has to be a game that has a lot of unique stories, a lot of stuff that goes down, a lot of pain, heartache, and the world and stuff has to be this living, breathing world, which they're planning on doing, because there's a lot of shit that's going to go on here, and this is a setting that hasn't really been shown to us in too many games. This setting has to be shown in a way that it excites, and it has to do something that's completely new. And that's what I love and see that's why I love and see the potential in Ghost of Tsushima, and it's probably why you guys love it as well. For years we've been asking for Ubisoft to do an Assassin's Creed based on this time era, and they just simply wouldn't. Even though we wanted it to be on the mainland for Japan, they just simply wouldn't make a fucking game that's based around this period. It just doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't do it, but they simply wouldn't. And for some reason, I feel like they were saving it just in case Assassin's Creed needed that very last game, needed that game to revive the franchise. I believe that's when they would have did it, but we already have Ghost of Tsushima now, and I'm hoping that this is a game that kind of goes from the whole samurai aspects to a kind of Tenchu open world game when it comes to the ninja aspects. But let me know what you guys want, how you guys want the game to play. Once again, personally, I would love for them to do something that's very reminiscent to For Honor, or something that's like the Shadow of War games. Although, once again, I don't see how they would make it work for a samurai. Like, the whole character himself, I don't know how they would be able to make it work. With Shadow of War, it worked because there were things such as magic and shit like that in, the Lord of the Rings. But with this, it's kind of more realistic, and I just don't see how they will be able to make it happen. But if that's the style they chose to go with, that's the style they'll choose to go with. Although I definitely don't see it, but the way that For Honor plays is a good gameplay style. It's something new, it's something fresh and exciting, and I would love to see them come up with their own way of doing it. And with seeing the mistakes that For Honor had, they have a better opportunity to make the game better than that, and probably make do on the promise of gameplay like that. And at the same time, too, as far as the ninja aspects go, a Tenchu open world game, just please, oh my god, I've been waiting for a new Tenchu game that was open world. But if this game can deliver that, then I would just fucking love to see it. As far as upgrades and things like that go, I believe better swords, better weapons. Of course, if it's going to be an RPG like game, then of course we're going to have to upgrade and change our armor, and, find better weapons and stuff, so that way we can upgrade and craft certain things, and that's going to lead to us being able to kill harder enemies. And as far as the world itself, I wanted to take that same approach that games have been taking lately, such as Assassin's Creed Origins and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, to where if you want to go straight for the top enemies, if you want to go straight for the ending of the game, you can do that. But at level 1, you're going to get your ass kicked. I would love to have a game that's like that. I know they said that they don't want to do way markers. They don't want to do waypoints and shit. They want to allow us to explore and find things. And that makes it sound very close to that gameplay style. So it already seems like that's the direction they're going in. But this has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. I love all of the support that you guys gave me on the first video. I love you guys. Be safe. Be cool. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace the heck outie.